Outside the Box Reviews, we are taking a look at the NECA Predator Wave 13, the second Kenner Tribute Wave, and this is Renegade Predator. Renegade, at least in my mind, when I remember seeing this guy on store shelves when I was a kid, was kind of the most generic Predator of the bunch. He was the one that looked the most like the movie version of the Predator. And it makes sense that when NECA put this figure out, they used that classic jungle hunter body. Now, the last two Predators in this wave have been pretty much straight up repaints of their previous incarnations in the last Kenner Tribute Wave, which does fit with the action figures they're based on. And quite honestly, I expected this figure would follow the same pattern and take the Hive Wars Predator body and reuse it. But NECA has not included any of the new sculpting they did for that Hive Wars Predator and given us a classic Jungle Hunter based Predator, which is more accurate to the Kenner toy. For accessories, Renegade actually comes with two brand new sculpted pieces. First up, he has his staff or his spear, which is really cool looking. We have this big crescent shaped blade with another kind of blade up at the top. Everything's very angular and futuristic looking. Some more blades down here at the bottom. It's a very cool looking piece and a really nice kind of visual update or visual recreation of the original Kenner version, which had this basic shape but was just one color plastic and definitely didn't have this kind of detail on. Here we've got things even like a wrap down here. The blades are different colors. There's some nice paint shading throughout. Some different colors of grays mixed in. It is a very nicely done blade. There's even some nice black around here, kind of look like wear or welding marks. My only gripe with this blade is the handle areas. A lot of the promotional photos showed him holding it by this section here, and he really can only hold it in his one hand. His left hand is a tighter grip, and that will fit around this section, but it's a very loose hold, so it just kind of hangs loosely from his side. If you put it up here in this section, which is where I had it in the opening of the video, he actually holds it a bit tighter just because it is a tighter area in here. And I personally think that looks a little better. Now, Renegade's other accessory I absolutely love. This thing is badass. This is his little cannon, his handgun, which seems really pointless for a Predator to have, but this is nicely sculpted. All kinds of really neat details in here. It looks like a handgun. It looks like the original Kenner piece, but you can see elements sculpted in here that are reminiscent of the backpack and shoulder cannon plasma caster. There's very sharp angular pieces on it. There's this kind of turtle shell, scaly looking section, which very much looks like the med pack. Even here on the side, we have the three little laser lights, so we could assume this would actually shine the same laser lights that the plasma caster does before he shoots down his target. Some more little red detailings here on the side as well. Just a very, very nicely sculpted piece. There's also some great paint shading in here. There's highlighted silver areas that are very shiny. There's more matte areas. There's little bits of black wash going on here. I actually really, really love this accessory. And before we even get into the Predator itself, I gotta say, even though we got a reuse of the Jungle Hunter body that we've seen a lot, the new sculpting put into these weapons, specifically this blaster, really sets this Predator off for me. And taking a look up at the head, it is very much the Jungle Hunter head sculpt, done in a very nice silver though. We have all the good details on there, the black eyes, the red laser cannon up here, and simulating the Kenner figure's little like kind of scratch or splotch going up here on the top of the helmet. Not sculpted in, but a nicely painted effect. You can see his green flesh coming around the mask. We have the standard dreadlocks for the Jungle Hunter. There's plasma caster back here, which is removable along with the backpack. Very nicely done in a color that matches the rest of his armor. Of course, this is articulated, hinges at the bottom, and is ball jointed up at the top. This one isn't as loose as some of the previous ones, which is a very good sign. And of course, that does pop off. You can pop it back on as needed. Good detailed on the back of the armor. Sculpted scales throughout the chest. Shoulder armor going on there. I really love the color scheme they went with the skin here. The darker greens fading into a more yellowy green and the blacks added in between. It's a very, very reptilian look and I like it. We of course have the tubes going through the arm here. Wrist computer. The gripping hand on the one side to hold the gun. And the tighter grip for that staff. We have the standard wrist gauntlet which does slide out. Standard loincloth for the Jungle Hunter with the flap in the back. Leg armor here. One thing I noticed with all these Kenner versions, which I guess lives up to the Kenner paint job, but there is no netting painted on these. They're all painted just the colors of the Predator. Now, I know they're not going to retool the body just to take the netting off, but it's kind of odd to see them just with sculpted netting and not painted. You have the standard knee and shin guards, and of course little sandals on his Predator feet. This Predator of the whole bunch is the one to me that feels most cartoony Kenner toy-ish. The colors are very, very bright and vibrant, but somehow NECA's pulled it off and made it not look ridiculous. For articulation, we do have a ball joint at the neck, looks up and down, side to side very easily. Of course, the shoulder can will hinder that when it's attached. Pin socket shoulders, they go out to the side. They are hindered by their shoulder armor and go forward and back. Of course, his left arm here is hindered a bit by the wire here, but you really do get a very good range of motion without snapping it, which is fantastic. Same with the elbow here. We can bend it all the way, full 90-degree bend on that elbow, as well as rotate, and it takes a lot before you're in danger of pulling that plug out. We have a ball joint at the wrist. The one on this one is a little stiff on both sides, so I got a good swivel, but not a whole lot of up and down. There it goes. I kind of just need to loosen up, I guess. We get a swivel at the waist. Pin socket legs go forward and back and out to the side very, very far. Swivel at the top of the leg. Double jointed at the knee, and a ball jointed foot. And here we have Renegade next to Hive Wars, the closest Predator to him in this line, but you can see Hive Wars definitely has some very different armor going on, but they both are based off that Jungle Hunter body. And I don't know how it happened, but again, just like with Crack Tusk, I really like Renegade. I think it's the damn gun. I think that's my favorite part of this figure, and it just makes it a standout in my mind somehow. The bright colors definitely make him not a normal Jungle Hunter. It makes it not feel like the same Jungle Hunter body we've gotten again and again. Gives it character, and I guess that's the important thing. I've said several times this Kenner line isn't really for me, or at least the Kenner Predator line is not really for me. The Kenner Aliens line, I've said before, I'm very excited for, but Kenner Predator, not quite so much. But I'm going to recommend Renegade, and that gives this whole wave recommends across the board. This figure is solid. There's nothing spectacular about it. If you pick and choose on Predator figures, and you weren't a big fan of the Kenner line back in the day, this might not do anything for you. But if you collect a lot of them, or if you're just looking to get one, and it doesn't have to be movie accurate, just want a Predator to throw on your shelf and look cool, this isn't a bad one to pick. He's definitely very visually appealing. He's very classic Predator looking without being straight up Jungle Hunter, and I like it. So that wraps up this wave of Predators, and by the time I'm recording this video, the first video in this series is already posted, and I have seen some reactions in there. A lot of people are not feeling these repaint figures. A lot of people are kind of revolting against that. But don't worry, because the next Predator wave, Wave 14, we get brand new Predator bodies. Now, granted, they're for AVP, so maybe you're going to be upset for a completely different reason, but brand new Predator bodies, new articulation we've never had before on a Predator, and quite honestly, I've been waiting to get AVP Predators from NECA for so long. I need them to round out my collection. I mean, I have the old NECA Wolf, but I only have one of the old McFarlane AVP figures. So that's kind of a missing section of my Predator collection. So I can finally fill that in, and to be quite honest, I don't hate AVP quite as much as most people do, so I actually am pretty excited to get some of the characters. But we probably have at least another 6 months wait before that, and you know I am going to be waiting very impatiently. But Predator Week isn't over. I still have one more review to go. But in the meantime, make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, it's been our Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned, because Predator Week continues next time.